Get inspired by some amazing women while playing an update to a classic card game. This is our review of Old Maid.
Old Maid is a set collection card game that is a modern update to the classic card game Old Maid.
There are two gameplay options for Old Maid, the first being a simple updated version of Old Maid.
In this version, players draw cards from each other's hands to create pairs, and the player that ends up with the Old Maid wins.
The second gameplay option is more advanced, and it's the version we recommend playing.
Each player starts off with 5 cards at the start of each turn, then they will draw 2 cards.
Then each player can play up to 3 cards. They can play pairs in front of them, they can add to pairs already played, or they can play action cards.
The goal is to complete sets of 4 using the Inspirational women's cards. However, there are wild cards that can help you complete those sets.
The first player to complete 3 sets, or the player with the most points when the deck runs out, wins.
We were sent this game by the creators of Old Maid so that we could create this review, so thank you Alex and Leslie for sending it to us.
So the first thing you'll notice when you open the box is that it's just a card game. However, all the artwork is pretty amazing. It's all different inspirational women, and all the artwork is done really well so you can tell who the person is, even though they all have their name. So it's Amelia Earhart, and then it looks like Amelia Earhart.
So like we said, it is a nice little variation to Old Maid. You know, you have all these famous women in here, so it gives you a little bit more appreciation of all their accomplishments. You can even read about it in the instruction book. And then it adds a couple extra game mechanics like the action cards and wild cards. And what I like the most is that the Old Maid card is the card that you want rather than the one you're trying to give away or make sure someone else takes.
The second way of playing the game, which is the advanced way, is the way that we would recommend and the way that I really enjoyed playing it. It introduces the action cards, it introduces wild cards, and you're trying to collect sets. So instead of going through all the cards and trying to get the Old Maid just becomes a wild card, and you're just making sets, and it's basically a set collection game, which I really like.
So in the game variant where you have to collect the sets in order to win, I did notice when we played that when you show your hand first that like, oh, okay, let me put down this pair of this color. Everyone else is alerted and they're like, oh, well, I have that in my hand, so I'm not gonna play it and I'm not gonna throw it away, so he can't complete the set. And then you're just sitting there like, well, what do I do now?
And that's where the wild cards come in, because there's 2 wild cards in each color. Plus you have the Old Maid, which is the overall wild card, can be played in anything. Plus you have action cards where you can steal cards or draw more cards. And if everyone's holding cards and no one's playing it and no one gets their sets of 4, once the deck runs out, you're still gonna get points for whatever cards you have in front of you. So adding points is still probably the better strategy.
So the base set does give you a good variety of different occupations and famous women and what they've done, but then there's also expansions too. This one had the Athlete Expansion Pack. So we had a lot of female athletes in there that you can kind of recognize the names and read about their accomplishments too.
One thing that I like in the rulebook, they have mini biographies of all the women that are in all of the cards. So you can learn about them. So not only can you play the game and have fun, but it can also be a learning experience too. So if you're playing it as a family-friendly game, or if you want to play it with like your Girl Scouts or your camp or stuff like that, you can really make it a learning experience while people are having fun.
Overall, I'm going to give Old Maid a 4.5. I like where they were going as far as direction and, you know, calling out all the great achievements and accolades that these great women have done, but it didn't really draw me as far as like, you know, having a lot of fun. You know, it's basically set collection and then you've got your action cards that are like reverse, draw 2, steal a card, things like that.
Overall, I'm going to give the game a 6. I think it's a lot of fun, especially for families, especially for teaching young kids about some inspirational women. Plus, there's 2 ways of playing this game. And I used to play Old Maid a lot when I was a young kid, so I liked this modern twist on it. So I liked everything that they did with this, and I'm going to give it a 6.
And Teresa gives it a 10.
And Juliana gives it a 6.5. And that was our review of Old Maid.
What'd you think? Are you ready to see what you're made of? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you'd like to purchase Old Maid, we'll have a link in our description below. And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny.